Just letting you guys know you can check out my No Bleeps podcast wherever you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel. Link in the description. Hey guys, it's Billy and welcome back to Sesh. You guys, Shane Dawson is back. And I'm not kidding, actually back. And grateful that he got canceled?
So grateful that I got canceled.
Yeah, anyways, Shane posted a video on his channel called The Haunting of Shane Dawson. This is his channel, not Ryland's, not the SIP, his Shane channel. This is part one of a 3-part Shane Dawson special. He even posted on his Instagram story that he was scared to actually post this video. He said, "Never been more scared in my life. Let's do this." The Haunting of Shane Dawson. The video starts with "I've missed you" and a quote that says, "The horrors of retirement. These are scarier than any horror movie I can dream up." He spends the first 20 minutes of this video addressing the break he took and the scandal, kind of what's been going on with his life. He literally kicks it right off with some jokes talking about how he didn't learn anything, but then he quickly says that he's kidding and that he has learned a lot throughout the scandal.
I learned piano during my break. Kidding, I didn't learn anything. No, I learned a lot about myself. Oof.
I do want to make a note that it seemed like everything that Shane was posting in the last couple of weeks made it seem like he did not have a plan to come back anytime in the near future. He said that he was just kind of waiting for inspiration to start and that he would come back, but didn't know when. And this video seems very well thought out, so I feel like he already knew he was coming back and was just kind of testing the waters when he was on Ryland's podcast and in Ryland's videos. Now, he does joke some more about the scandal later on when he's like showing off this sign that's in his house.
Say I'm sorry. Yes, we do. Don't worry, I'll get to that. We make mistakes? Yes, we do. I'll get to that. We forgive quickly. How about you get to that?
And he also makes it known that he is trying not to care about how people think about him anymore, and he says that he's feeling great. And then he wants to kind of explain what's been going on in the recent times, why they moved, how the move has gone, and says that he wanted a place where he felt like he could be more creative, and he said that he has like a plan and he wanted to explain that, and that in the last year it's definitely been intense and he felt like he needed to address some stuff. Like he didn't want to make a video and not address everything that had kind of gone on. He said that he was obviously horrified by all the old clips that were resurfacing about him, and the reason that he wanted to move with Ryland to Colorado is because he is happier, a weight is gone, and this is a chapter of his life that he wants to focus on horror movies, and where they're living in Colorado is kind of a scary place. He says Denver is scary. He's done series in Colorado before. It excites him being in this place and he's just a lot happier here. He then kind of gets more into the last year of their life and what has happened and kind of jokes again.
I've had a year. Sorry, it's hard. I can't not laugh at it. You know what I mean? Like at this point.
Obviously, a reoccurring theme is him joking about the last year because it's kind of a coping mechanism for him. But he says that he discussed the entire cancellation with a therapist of his, and he starts to get into more of like a deep talk about this scandal. He explains that he's very disconnected from who he was when he was 20 years old, and that when he sees that person like in those old videos, it makes him sick to his stomach and it also makes him really sad. And he gets into what he learned in the last year. He says that he can't pretend that that person that used to make those old videos doesn't exist, and says that he felt like he was growing as a person and that he had grown so much already before he was canceled that he would never have said any of those things ever again. Like he wasn't making videos like that in the present time, and that those jokes and things, he wouldn't make them today. And prior to the cancellation, he was proud of who he was and who he had become and all this growth that he had done from the person that he was in his early 20s. And then, you know, he got canceled. And he says that it was hard because he thought that he had come a long way since then and that wasn't him anymore, but he still ended up getting canceled. And he was so hurt and sad, but says that he realized that he can't focus on what others, you know, think about him. He knows that that's not who he is anymore. And that's what he has chosen to really like stick to and think of.
Some things I've learned over the last year and a half is I can't just pretend like that person didn't exist. So I've really come to peace with that, Because I felt like I had made a lot of growth before I got canceled. The last 5 or 6 years in and out of therapy, dealing with stuff, I feel like I grew as a person. I feel like I learned a lot. I would never say or do any of those jokes or any of those things ever. I felt like I was growing up and I was excited about the next chapter, and then it felt like everything spiraled down, and then I got canceled, and then it felt like the end of the world. It also made me realize that I can't focus on what other people think of me. I can't control the way that people feel about me. I can't control how people react.
I definitely think in the beginning of this video, when Shane is talking about the cancellation and is talking about his past and everything that's gone on and how he got canceled, I thought he was going to ignore everything, so I was shocked that he even addressed it at all. But he did kind of neglect to say the reason why people weren't going through his past and the reason why people were so upset by those old videos. People felt like, oh my God, did Shane really change? Because currently people were seeing a Shane that was very closely working with Jeffree Star, and people had just realized that Shane was working with Jeffree and Tati and felt like he had a hand in getting James Charles. And obviously, you know, we now know everything about James Charles, but at the particular time when Shane was getting called out, people were like, why are you coming for James? You plotting with Tati and Jeffree to try to get James, and everything that you've said about James and his ego, the way that you're talking about him, we feel like this isn't the Shane that we know and love. And then people were like, well, hold up, look at his old videos. This is Shane. Shane hasn't changed at all. It was really like Tati coming out with that video that really sent everyone over the edge. I mean, she was basically saying that she was scared of Jeffree Star, and Shane was working with Jeffree in such a way that seemed so evil, and it seemed like she was gonna sue them, and they had manipulated her, and Shane was so obsessed with James, and everyone was just like, who is this version of Shane? Like, we do not know him. I don't recognize him. I thought I loved him, and I just don't know anymore. Then there were behind the scenes footage from Shane's old show that he made, and people were like, oh my God, Shane is mean. Like, look at how he's talking to people in these videos. He had a really bad working relationship with the person that he was making this with. That's the things that were coming out about Shane, and that's what made his old videos that much more shocking to people, because people did think, oh my God, Shane is such a good person. Shane is so sweet. His videos are so funny. Shane is so talented. He should have a Netflix show. But then when people started to see his character kind of different when he was working with Jeffree, and people were like, wait, he had a hand in Ramageddon? And then people went through his past and they were like, oh, I don't actually know Shane at all. People also felt like Shane was lying to people, pretending to be poor in his multi-million-dollar home, and also faked being a beauty guru in order to sell a palette, never to make a makeup tutorial or anything like that, and just completely leave after his docuseries. It wasn't just like one day people were like, let's go through Shane's past, and they were like, horrified. But anyways, Shane says that he is happy, like I said, that it all happened and that he was able to learn a lot of lessons from this. There were a lot of positives that came from the cancellation. He says he was able to really focus on what he truly loves, find what's really important to him.
And I feel like I'm so happy it happened, so grateful that I got canceled, because it really changed my life. It showed me what I care about. It showed me what matters. It showed me I don't need to be on YouTube all the time. I don't need to be stressed about what's next. I don't need to be trying to think of the next idea, the next whatever, to be happy. Like, I'm happy sitting in this weird dark living room with him, you know, watching candle reviews. Like, that makes me happy.
And he also says that he doesn't want to be looked at as someone who just kind of gave up and ran away. He left because he felt like he should, and because he wanted to learn and get out of a depressing stage of life. And, you know, he says that to people who are still upset and don't want him around, he totally understands.
To the people who are still upset and don't want me to be around, and I understand.
And the rest of the video discusses Shane kind of being haunted by ghosts and entities following him around, and, you know, it gets into the haunting of Shane Dawson, you know? But that was kind of him addressing everything that has gone down. He does kind of slightly mention that he's got a new person filming his videos because Andrew is not working with him anymore. And it's Chris. Chris is the person that was filming this video. They've known each other since 2009. So they have worked together before, but that was kind of like a new way of being like, oh, it's not Andrew. Yikes. Just a little bit of a yikes there because they're not friends anymore. Yeah, which all kind of went down during the scandal last year. But that's pretty much it for Shane's first video back. Obviously, it seems like we're going to be getting more videos from Shane in the near future since this is a 3-part series. I definitely want to know if you guys watch this video, what you guys think about what Shane had to say. Let me know in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.